All right, let's jump right into it. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a scenario that perfectly mixes mystery, suspense, and honestly, some seriously laugh-out-loud moments. Imagine, if you will, a picture-perfect, snow-covered mountain town. You know the kind. It's quiet, it's peaceful, but in the blink of an eye, that completely serene setting is about to turn into a terrifying whodunit. We're going to be breaking down the story and the underlying psychology of Werewolves Within. It's a fantastic horror comedy that asks some surprisingly deep questions about human nature when the heat gets turned up, or, well, I guess in this case, when the snow falls.
Which brings us to the absolute core of our explainer. What happens when strangers get trapped and someone is a werewolf? I love asking this because it just instantly drops us right into the high stakes of a classic locked room mystery. I mean, think about it. You have a group of people with absolutely no way out, and suddenly everyone starts believing that one among them is a literal monster. It's a wild, incredibly fun idea, and it totally sets the stage for everything we're about to look at today.
So let's start with part 1, Trapped in a Snowy Town. Before the chaos hits, before the panic sets in, we start with this massive false sense of security. It's a quiet mountain town where everyone seems to know everyone. It's the kind of place that looks straight out of a holiday snow globe, and this vibe perfectly aligns with our first main character. Meet Finn. He's the new forest ranger, and he's arriving in town hoping for a peaceful, easy start to his new job. He's kind, he's incredibly polite, and most importantly for our story, he always tries to see the good in people. He is basically our anchor of optimism in a situation that is about to go entirely off the rails.
But of course, Finn isn't flying solo for long. Enter Cecily, the cheerful local. As the town's mail carrier, she pretty much knows everyone and everything going on in this quiet little place. She's super welcoming, and she very quickly befriends Finn, instantly becoming his closest ally. Together, they form this really grounded, optimistic team that is about to be tested in ways they literally could not imagine. Moving right along to Section 2, Finn, Cecily, and the Storm.
Okay, so we've got our setting, we've got our heroes, but that peacefulness, yeah, it definitely doesn't last. It all kicks off with a massive, heavy snowstorm that completely blocks the roads in just a matter of hours. The town is now entirely cut off from the outside world. Nobody's getting in, and nobody is getting out. Then, over the next couple of days, things get weird. People notice pets are disappearing. Strange attacks start happening. Suddenly, boom, the power goes out, plunging everyone into darkness. And then, mere minutes later, a resident is found dead. The signs were all there. The missing pets, the blackout, and it rapidly descends into this deadly ticking clock nightmare, culminating in absolute tragedy.
This brings us to part 3, the mystery of the attacks.
So with a resident dead and literally nowhere to run from whatever's lurking out in the snow, fear spreads through the town like wildfire. The townspeople make the choice to gather and lock themselves inside a local lodge to stay safe. And guys, this creates such a stark contrast in survival tactics. On one side, you've got Finn and Cecily. They're trying to approach this whole mystery using logic, calmness, and teamwork. They're actively searching for clues. Cecily is helping Finn piece things together, all while just trying to remind everyone not to lose their minds. But on the other side, the rest of the townspeople. Instead of working together, they are operating purely on fear, wild accusations, panic, and non-stop arguing. This dynamic right here is the engine of the movie's comedy and its tension. It's logic completely clashing with absolute unfiltered paranoia.
Which leads perfectly into Section 4, Cabin Fever and Rising Paranoia.
Think about it. You take all these incredibly different, eccentric, and unpredictable personalities. You trap them together inside a lodge, and you add a heavy dose of mortal terror. What happens? They instantly turn on one another. Instead of finding safety in numbers, the lodge becomes a total pressure cooker. When you're terrified that a killer or a literal werewolf is sitting in the room with you, every single little quirk becomes a massive red flag. Someone has a short temper? Highly suspicious. Someone acts a little strangely nervous? Oh, they're definitely hiding something. Someone always seems to disappear at exactly the wrong moment? They must be the killer. Literally, everyone becomes a suspect, and the more they argue, the less they trust each other.
And this just leads to a complete psychological collapse.
It really kicks off when another attack happens, right when tensions are already sky high. That pushes the panic to an absolute breaking point. People just start pointing fingers at anyone who looks even remotely suspicious. That causes longtime friendships to completely fall apart, and ultimately all the dark little secrets begin to spill out. As they try to survive, these strange, hilarious characters just argue relentlessly. The mystery keeps shifting, taking these wild, unexpected turns right when you think you finally figured it out, making it practically impossible to guess who the real killer actually is.
Which leaves everyone in that room asking, who or what is actually responsible here? Some of the townspeople are holding out hope that it's just a wild animal. Others are entirely convinced a literal werewolf is hunting them down. But as the tension hits its peak, we kind of have to pivot our focus. Is the physical beast outside the lodge really the biggest threat, or is it something else entirely?
And that brings us to our final section. The real danger is panic.
This right here is the big thematic twist of the entire story. While everyone is frantically searching for a monster with fur and fangs, they are completely ignoring the massive destruction they are causing to themselves. The townspeople's wild reactions, their baseless accusations, and their total inability to just work together are tearing the group apart from the inside out, as Finn ultimately realizes. Sometimes the real danger isn't the monster outside, it's the panic and distrust growing inside. It's a surprisingly profound realization as the story unfolds toward its wildly exciting, suspenseful, and laugh-filled final act. Blind fear and the loss of trust, those are the true monsters in this lodge.
And that leaves us with this final thought for you to chew on. What happens when your group is under pressure? Werewolves Within might be a really fun, unpredictable horror comedy, but the lesson it teaches is terrifyingly real. When the power goes out and the pressure is really on, do you lean on logic and teamwork like Finn and Cecily, or do you give in to the panic and distrust? It's a fascinating question, and one that makes this locked room mystery an absolute blast to unpack. Keep that in mind the next time you find yourself stuck in a room with a group of nervous people. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this leaves you eager to dive into the mystery for yourself. See you next time.